Professor Zixtar's antennae twitched with barely concealed frustration as he addressed his xenobiology class at the Galactic Institute. The subject of the day, human pain responses. As we've discussed, the Kaltorian professor began, his mandibles clicking, humans are notorious for their theatrical reactions to minor injuries. A paper cut, and they act as if they've lost a limb. It's quite. Excuse me, Professor, came a voice from the back of the lecture hall. Every head, antenna, and sensory organ turned toward the human exchange student, Jason Mitchell, who sat with his arm in what appeared to be a primitive binding. Yes, Mr. Mitchell. Zixtar's tone carried the weight of 1,000 exasperated sighs. I don't mean to interrupt, sir, but I think there might be some misunderstanding about human pain responses. A ripple of amused chirps and whistles spread through the classroom. The Veloxian student beside Jason, whose name was approximately pronounced as Scree, leaned away slightly, her facial tendrils recoiling in what Jason had learned was the equivalent of an eye roll. Mr. Mitchell, the professor continued, just yesterday, your fellow human, Rebecca Torres, visited the medical center because she claimed a hangnail was causing her distress. The medical staff found no significant injury. And yet, she requested pain medication. Right, Jason nodded, shifting in his seat. But that's actually my point. And 3 weeks ago, Zixtar interrupted, warming to his subject, human student Marcus Johnson reported to his dormitory advisor that he had stubbed his toe and required ice therapy. Ice therapy. For a minor collision with furniture. The class erupted in laughter. Jason waited patiently, his expression neutral. Are you quite finished, Mr. Mitchell? Some of us are trying to learn actual science here, hissed a Serpentian student from the middle row. Actually, Jason said, standing up and carefully unwrapping the binding from his arm, I was hoping to provide a practical demonstration. The revealed appendage caused an immediate silence. What the aliens had assumed was a simple sprain or minor fracture was actually a compound break, the bone having been temporarily set and wrapped, with deep purple bruising spreading from wrist to elbow. By the eternal voids, Zixtar breathed, his teaching drone nearly falling from the air. Mr. Mitchell, why are you in class? You should be in the medical center. It's just a broken arm, Professor, Jason said with a shrug that made several students gasp. I broke it 3 days ago during the gravity ball tournament. Figured I'd wait until the weekend to get it properly treated since I didn't want to miss your lectures. 3 days. Scree's tendrils stood straight up in shock. You've been attending classes with a broken bone for 3 rotations. Well, yeah, Jason replied, carefully rewrapping his arm. It's not that bad. I've been through worse. The classroom descended into chaos. Students were frantically accessing their data pads, cross-referencing human pain tolerances with injury severity scales. This makes no sense, shouted a crystalline Lit-Horan student. Our xenobiology texts specifically state that humans are hypersensitive to pain. That's what I've been trying to explain, Jason said, raising his voice to be heard. Some humans do react strongly to minor pain. But others, we have a tendency to downplay serious injuries. It's a cultural thing, I guess. Nobody wants to seem weak or be a burden. Professor Zixtar had gone completely still, a sign of deep contemplation in his species. Mr. Mitchell, are you telling me that while some humans will seek medical attention for insignificant injuries, others will walk around with broken bones and act as if nothing is wrong? Pretty much, yeah. But that's completely contradictory. How can we possibly establish baseline pain response data if your species can't even agree on what hurts? Jason grinned. Welcome to studying humans, Professor. A Draconid student raised one clawed hand. I don't understand. If you're capable of withstanding such pain, why do other humans complain about minor injuries? Pain tolerance varies, Jason explained. But also, pain is weird. A paper cut can hurt like hell because it hits a lot of nerve endings. But a broken bone? Sometimes the adrenaline kicks in and you don't feel it right away. Plus, we're stubborn. My grandfather once walked on a broken ankle for 2 weeks because he didn't want to bother anyone. That's medically inadvisable, Zixtar said weakly. Oh, absolutely, Jason agreed. But that's kind of the point. We're not logical about pain. We're not consistent about it either. We're just human. The professor sat down heavily at his desk, his entire worldview of human pain responses crumbling. So what you're saying is that human pain reactions exist on a completely unpredictable spectrum, dependent on individual psychology, cultural background, and situational context. Yep. And there's no way to accurately predict whether a human will overreact or underreact to any given injury? Not really, no. Zixtar looked at his carefully prepared lecture notes, then at the textbook on human biology sitting on his desk. With a deliberate motion, he closed the book. Class dismissed, he announced. I need to completely rewrite this entire section of the curriculum. As the students filed out, chattering excitedly in a dozen different languages, Scree approached Jason. You're going to the medical center now, right? She asked, genuine concern in her voice. Right after lunch, Jason confirmed. The cafeteria has pizza today. Humans, she muttered, shaking her head as she walked away. You're all insane. Jason smiled and headed toward the cafeteria, his broken arm throbbing with each step. He'd get it fixed eventually. After lunch. Maybe after his afternoon study session too. After all, it was just a broken bone.